Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada, not too far from the famous city of Vancouver. I hope that you're all having a great start to the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2023. Welcome, Carolina, our chat moderator. Welcome to our members, Silviana, Domenico, and to many of our viewers today, Nur Dalet, Lukman, Anita, Abhishek. Nice to have you all with me here today for this IELTS Speaking Part 1 class. We are kicking the year off with the speaking section, and we will be talking about food and cooking, which is definitely one of the popular topics that you could get in Part 1 of the IELTS Speaking. Of course, food is common to all humans. We all do it. We all eat. And this lesson, of course, continues to be brought to you by aehelp.com. We've had a lot of students join our websites over the last week, which is great to see, and we've had a lot of positive feedback, as well as gieltshelp.com. aehelp.com is for academic IELTS. It's this website here. It's got all of the materials we use in these live classes, including videos, practice exams, interactive courses, and it's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so you can click that big red button whenever you feel ready and join our premium IELTS package. We're an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent. Same idea with the general IELTS. It's gieltshelp.com. Click that big red button. When you do that, when you click that button, then you can use the code, the discount code. We're always giving discount codes in this live classes, so it's good to be here. We're using the code LEARN10 for the start of this week to get a 10% discount. I see that a lot of people are writing in the chat that you've got exams coming up, so it's definitely a great month to really dig deep and get into your studies. We're going to do that in this class today. We are going to look at strategies for the speaking section. I will give you tips about what to do and what not to do, and we will practice. So using the website a little bit later on, we will also talk to our students through this live class. You will be able to ask me questions, and I will also practice the speaking section with you. I will give you a band score estimate and tell you how to improve. So again, use that code LEARN10 for a 10% discount on the websites. Definitely a good idea to join, especially if you're in these live classes regularly. You can get our apps, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help, from your app store. We're making lots and lots of upgrades to our apps and websites this year as well. So it's going to be an exciting 2023 for us. The apps will link to your web accounts. You can also follow us on Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. And if you have questions, you can always send me an email, or you can even ask Carolina in the chat. She knows a lot about the IELTS and a lot about us. So feel free to reach out with questions anytime during the class. And you can, as I said, send emails to these email addresses, okay? If you want a physical book, like some people really like to learn from a paper book, especially if you're doing the paper-based exam, it's a good idea. You can also find our books on Amazon. A helps Academic IELTS and G helps General IELTS. Search for those on Amazon and you can order physical exam books. All right, students, so we've got a schedule coming up for you for the next week. I should say for this week. As I said, we're kicking it off with Speaking Part 1 right now. Then tomorrow we'll have Task 2 writing for members and reading for subscribers. If nothing else, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will get lots of free content as well throughout the week. And then on Saturday we'll have Speaking Part 2, Speaking Part 3, and on Sunday I will host a Discord class on Discord. Discord is an app basically, or a software where students get together, IELTS students, at the IELTS prep server and talk about IELTS. It's a great group of people. It's completely free and it's there for you, and we're happy to be partners with them, so you can check that out. I put the link in the chat, and I'll give you another link for one of our most recent videos on the YouTube channel where you can practice your speaking. Let's do that, students. Let's get into IELTS speaking. So again, let's start this year off strong. I heard a lot of New Year's resolutions last week at the end of 2022. So hopefully everybody is staying with their New Year's resolution. A New Year's resolution, let me write that down. A New Year's resolution, it's kind of like a promise for improvement. I think most people know what it is. It's become very popular, but it's a self promise for the new year to improve. And there are lots, like a lot of people said, I want to get a band 7 on IELTS in 2023. So that would be like an example of a New Year's resolution. One of the most popular ones is like, I want to exercise more. Students, that I want to exercise more one, I'm a strong believer of a healthy body as a healthy mind. A really good way to improve your thinking, your language skills, is just to exercise. Exercise, movement, not only helps with everyday life and sleep, but will also help with IELTS. You will actually do better. You will be more confident. You will be stronger physically and then mentally. So everybody should have that one as a goal for 2023. Okay, students, so lots of New Year's resolutions, so let's do that. I think a lot of you are doing probably a great job. That's why you're here with me right now. Okay, this is speaking, so make sure that everybody repeats and speaks in this class. Don't just listen. As you know, I'm Canadian. I am from Western Canada. My accent is West Coast North American. Accent, kind of like Hollywood. You can think about it that way. I mean, accents have gotten a lot more diverse in the past few years, which is nice to see in Hollywood. But Hollywood's in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is also on the West Coast. It's a city I've visited a few times. So West Coast, North America, we all kind of speak similar kind of English. So it's a good accent. A lot of people understand it because of movies and such. So you can copy, you can practice, repeat what I say, repeat how I say it, okay? Let's get into it. So IELTS speaking, it's a 15-minute interview. It seems like it takes forever, but when you actually do it, suddenly it starts and then it's finished. So 15 minutes, it's not a lot of time. It's a quarter of the other section, so you really have to focus, be confident, make sure you do a good job. Here's my first tip to you. Since it's the start of the year, I think it's a great way to remind everybody of this tip. Arrive to the exam center 1 hour before your speaking interview and practice your speaking questions with other candidates to warm up and build confidence. Okay, this tip alone can save you a band score. Okay, following this one tip can help you save a band score or more. Everybody clear on that? Can you give me some thumbs up? That's a really important one. So be prepared. It's really silly to go to the IELTS speaking interview, speak in your own language all day long, walk into the exam room, and then switch to English. It's like, really? So don't do that. I know most of you don't, but those few people that might do that, I really want to discourage you from doing that, okay? All right, I see lots of thumbs up there, all right? So I know many of you know this. I've said this in the past, but I think, you know, especially since we probably have new students coming in to these classes, this is a really important one, right? Show up an hour early, take questions with you, find somebody who's there. They'll be, you know, you'll see them. They're kind of like looking around like, what's going on? Where am I? What is this place? So you'll notice the candidates, and then you can just gently go up and say, hi, are you here for the IELTS speaking test? And they'll be like, yeah. And then you can be like, me too. I have some questions. Would you like to practice with me a little bit? And then they will be like, sure, all in English, okay, all in English. And then they'll be like, sure, that sounds like a good idea. And then you can be like, let's go find a quiet spot. And then you practice and you'll be like, yes, all right, okay, super important, okay. All right, then the second tip and the second reminder tip, take a mental note. But it's actually a real note. I don't know why I call it a mental note, but it's a real note. Take a mental note, a small piece of paper to remind you of some key strategies for your speaking interview. Okay, so write these down. When you're practicing for your IELTS speaking before your exam, you will notice that there are probably a couple of mistakes that you commonly make, and you want to write down on a piece of paper to really pay attention and avoid these as much as possible. So this is just an example, okay? And don't have too many. Don't have like 30 points because that's just too much. So have like maybe 5 to 10 points, okay? So 5 to 10, and you will know what it is. So you know your own weaknesses, right? So 5 to 10 points, and it should be something like include examples. Include smooth examples, okay? So include smooth examples with your answers. So if the examiner asks you, what are your hobbies? You can say, well, in my leisure time, I like to read books and watch movies. These help me to relax. And then your example would be like, just yesterday, I finished the book Life of Pi. Okay, so smooth examples. You might, have something like that on your notes. And then maybe you'll have something like include numbers. Okay, so how far do you live from this exam center? I live quite close, about 3 kilometers away. It took me 10 minutes on foot to get here, right? So 3 km away, took 10 minutes to get here, okay? Again, make sure that you're repeating me, students. So copy what I say, copy how I say it. This is already a part of your speaking practice here, okay? So definitely have this piece of paper with you so you can review it. Okay, another really important note is always include an answer plus explanation plus example, right? Just like I said, okay? One of the places where you want some notes usually is for part 2. So part 2, a really kind of awkwardly funny note to have is look at the card, look at the notes. Okay, it's still one of the most common bizarre mistakes that students make in the speaking section for part 2. They take notes, they look at the cue card at the beginning, and then they completely forget about it. Then they have to speak, and then they get stuck, and they're staring at the examiner, and then finally the pain is over when the examiner says, okay, let's stop there, because they forget that they can look at the card and the questions and the notes. So that could be one, okay? All right. So you get the idea, all right? You get the idea. So have that with you. Okay, let's get into it. Let's do lots of practice today to warm ourselves up, warm up those English thinking, speaking brain cells that we have, those neurons. So you get to the IELTS speaking exam and you register 20 minutes before with the same ID that you used to register online. If you do not have that, you will not be able to attend the test, so be careful. Make sure you have it. Make sure you don't lose it. And then the examiner will eventually call you in. They will be a man or a woman. They will look professional. They might smile. Maybe they won't smile. It doesn't matter. You're there for yourself. You're not there for them. They are not your teacher. They're not an ESL teacher. They're there to do a job. They have one job only, to assess your English, okay? I think a lot of people fall into this mindset or this trap that they think this is like a friendly person that should be like really nice to them, okay? No, they don't need to be nice to you. That's not part of the exam. Hopefully they are, but you know, I've heard students say, oh, I got really stressed out. I couldn't speak because they just seemed so angry. Who cares, right? They're there to do a job. You're there to do a job. So just think about yourself, okay? All right, so the examiner will say, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. We are conducting this exam at the Vancouver Centre, number 7YQ83. This is examiner number 97365 and candidate number 99427831. The time right now is 14 o'clock. I will give you instructions for each of the 3 parts of the speaking interview, and I'm recording this for clerical purposes. May I see your identification? That's always the first question. They need to make sure that you are you, and they want to see your identification. They have to check it off. It's the administration. So start with a nice full sentence answer. Students, give me a nice full sentence right off the bat. Right off the bat means right away. Andrew is asking, meanwhile, is it known the order in which they invite the candidates? Andrew, yes, it's the order which you register 20 minutes before the test. So when you go in, there's a separate room where there will be like 3, 4, 5 people who are helping to set up the exam, and that's where you register and you leave your jacket, you leave your cell phone, anything except a pen, pencil, eraser, and your water bottle. Those are the only items that can go with you into the exam room. And then they take a picture of you. They register you according to, they check you in according to your registration online that you did. And then whatever order, you'll get a number potentially, and then whatever order you check in 20 minutes before, that's the order that they will call you in to the exam rooms. Usually they have multiple examiners depending on how many students there are. Okay, so that's how it works, Andrew. So yes, there is a system. Okay. All right. Black Panther says... Oh, that's jumping the question, Black Panther. Sylviana, let's see. Meanwhile, while I look at Sylviana's here, Iqbal is saying, how can I join Discord? I'm clicking the link, but it's not working. Carolina, could you check the Discord link and then just copy it into the chat? Maybe the link that I used is not, there's something wrong with it. So if you could check on IELTS Prep meanwhile. Okay, so let's look at this question here. This is Sylviana. Sylviana says, certainly, here's my passport that I used for registration last week. Please take a look. Okay, good. Sylviana, you probably won't be registering just 1 week before. You would probably say last month. Students, make sure you register at least 3 to 4 weeks before you need to take your IELTS exam. It's usually very, very difficult, if not impossible, to register 1 or 2 weeks before. These exams are very popular. They fill up very quickly. So, Sylviana, nice thought, but here is probably something that's a bit more realistic. Certainly, here's my passport that I used for registration last month. Please take a look. Okay. Atharwa, welcome to our group of members. Nice to have you on board. Okay, Angel Janet says, yes, gladly, here's my passport that I used for registration. Please have a look. It's nice to see that many of you are using full sentences, not just short little yes here kind of concept. So good. Okay, those all work. Okay, you can use these starter questions to remind yourself of grammar range and using higher level grammar. So you can say something like, yes, gladly, here is my passport that I have used for registration a little while ago. Please take a look at my credentials. So using this sentence is good because it shows present perfect grammar, and it's a reminder to use present perfect, and it also shows some professional or academic language. Okay. With the concept of look at my credentials. So it's really good to have a strong first impression and to also use these questions just to remind yourself of the level of English and the type of English that you want to speak from the very, very beginning. Okay, and then the examiner will ask, what is your full name? So, what is your full name? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer to this one. What is your full name? And I think some of you already answered that. Let's take a look. So again, when you're introducing yourself, do it in a polite and professional way. Okay, polite and professional way. Okay, that's what you want to do. Amira says, my full name is Amira Rafiq. It's okay. It's a little bit simple, but it's okay. All right. Icon. Let's see what you have. Icon says, my first name is Icon and my family name is Kanlarzade. Please call me by just first name Icon. Yeah, that works. Yeah. So I would, yeah, it works. It depends on how you pronounce that, but it works. So please call me by my first name Icon. Maybe a little bit more natural. Okay, so my first name is Icon and my family name is Kanlarzade. Please call me by my first name. Now, if you, again, so use these questions to remind yourself of strategies, right? So instead of saying first name, I might say given name, right? So my first name is Icon and my family name is Kanlarzade. Please call me by my given name. When I say given name instead of first name, what does that remind me of, students? What important strategy does that remind me of in the IELTS exam? So using given name instead of first name reminds me to do what? And he says synonyms, but not just synonyms. Mr. Bolsetic says, yeah, reminds me to paraphrase. Okay, and there are lots of ways to paraphrase, not just synonyms, but there's also grammatical paraphrasing, there's descriptive paraphrasing, there's paraphrasing with idiomatic language expressions, right? So lots of different kinds of paraphrasing. Juji Pozoni also says paraphrasing. Very good. All right. So good. Again, use these introductory questions to set the professional tone of the interview and to remind yourself of important language strategies in the speaking to get those high band scores, okay? For those band 7 to 9, you really have to show some good language, okay? All right. So, next question, right? So this is when the examiner says, okay, for part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Where do you live? Give me a nice full sentence here. Okay. All right, just fun says, I live in Vietnam, which is a beautiful country. If you have enough free time, you can come to my country to relax. Okay, this would kind of set the tone for like a band 5. Okay, because it lacks detail and goes off topic. So just fun. Let me give you a better answer for this. Okay, so I reside in Vietnam, in the metropolitan city of Hanoi, and to be more specific, I live in a 3-bedroom detached house with my 2 siblings and parents. Okay, so that would be your band 9 level answer. All right, just fun. So this is on topic with detail, showing good lexical resource, right? So again, I'm paraphrasing. Instead of live, I use the word reside. I reside in Vietnam in the metropolitan city of Hanoi, and to be more specific, I live in a 3-bedroom detached house with my 2 siblings and parents. Okay? Try to repeat that after me. So copy what I say, okay? Here we go. I'm going to say this one more time. Just mirror me. And with good English, when you have good English, do it from listening. Try not to read. Okay, so try to just copy me just from listening. Here we go. I reside in Vietnam in the metropolitan city of Hanoi. And to be more specific, I live in a 3-bedroom detached house with my 2 siblings and parents. Okay, so notice how I'm going from country to city to house, right? There's also structure here. Notice the structure, right? Big to small. Country, city, house. You can do it the other way as well. I live in a 3-bedroom detached house in the city of Hanoi, of course, situated in Vietnam with my siblings and parents, right? So I can go the other way, small to big, okay? It's important to have structure, all right? Carolina, when you have a second, can you let me know about that Discord link again in the chat? I think there were a couple students asking about it. I did set up that Discord event, so it should be in IELTS Prep. Maybe you'll need to get the short link again. I was pretty sure I set that up, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay. All right. I will definitely set it up after class, students. Okay, let's see. Somebody else. Let's take Sunita, one of our members. Sunita says, I live in Amritsar, which is a very small and historical place in Punjab. It's a good city for career growth. Okay, the last bit there, Sunita, is going a little bit off topic, but overall, it's not a bad answer, all right? Okay, and then the next question. What do you like about your home? Give me a nice, this is where you want to answer. I like that my city is really good for career growth. There are a lot of people who have become well-recognized artists, painters, and they started their careers in Amritsar, right? So this is where you'd want to say that, maybe Anita, or Sunita, sorry. What do you like about your home? Oh, Andrew says the link is fine. It's just confusing. Yeah, I know. I don't know why. Andrew, okay, at least the link works. Thanks for confirming that. All right. So this is what Andy says. Andy says, the eye-catching exterior landscape around it is what I like about my home. Okay, Andy, this would be about a band 5.5, because you're making sense, makes sense, but it is awkward English, okay? So, eye-catching exterior landscape is strange English, all right? Most likely, a native speaker would say something like, the beautiful landscape surrounding the city is what I like most about living in Hanoi. There are amazing jungles, rivers, and animals that surround the area. Okay. Okay. So something like that. Eye-catching exterior landscape, awkward English. Okay, so be careful with that. Okay. All right, let's take one more. Alexander. Let's see what you have. Okay, so Alexander says, here we go. So Alexander says, I live just in about 5 kilometers from the city center and in 15 minutes from the airport. But what is the most valuable? I have a 300-acre forest in 5-minute by walk. Okay, so Alexander, this would be about a band 5 because there's grammatical mistakes and it is off topic. Okay, so I'm asking you what you like about your city, okay? Students, it's really important to stay on topic. And a great way to do that is use the question, target the question, okay? So another tip here is target the question by using the question. Okay, so let me give you an example here, all right? And again, for those high band scores, you really have to show not just good English, but good communication skills, okay? They're really looking for that, all right? So you want to do it like this. Okay, so I really enjoy that my home is situated very close to 300 acres of parkland where there is fresh air, water, lots of trees, and above all, a quiet place to relax and enjoy life. I go there in the evenings and weekends with my family for picnics. I was there last Sunday and my wife and I had a great time chatting while taking in the natural beauty. Okay, so that would be targeting the question. So Alexander, that's the kind of answer that I'm encouraging you to provide instead of what you gave, where it's kind of like, okay, where are you going with this? Notice how here I start with, I really enjoy that my home. And that right away tells the examiner that, okay, this person heard the question and they're answering the question, and that will let you speak more fluently and for longer as well. So a very common complaint that students give during the IELTS speaking is the examiner is interrupting me. The number one reason the examiner interrupts the candidates is when the examiner feels that the candidate is not giving an accurate answer. When they feel the candidate is going off topic, they interrupt you. So Alexander, if you start by saying, I live just about 5 kilometers from the city center, they might wait a little bit, like, how does this? And then you said, and in 15 minutes from the airport, they might interrupt you here. Okay. And they might not give you the chance to say about what is most valuable. Okay. So be really careful. Start with this part. What is most valuable for me living in this city. Okay. All right. And then the examiner will introduce the specific but general topic of part 1. They'll say, let's talk about making food. As soon as you hear this making food, what kind of verbs should pop into your mind? Okay, so give me some verbs that have to do with making food. Okay, there's a very important tip. As soon as you hear the subject of part 1, you should immediately have just kind of all of this vocabulary, especially verbs. Okay, think of key verbs for the topic as soon as you hear it. Okay, so cooking, yes. Okay. Okay, Andrew says boil, yes. Boil, cut, chop, yes. So different knife techniques, right? Chop, bake, fry, thank you, using the frying pan. Okay, slice, yes, you slice cheese. Steam, yes, very good, you steam vegetables. Whisk, yes, very good. You whisk to create different kinds of fluffy goodness. You also knead. How about that one? You knead dough. Saute, look at that, Amira, getting fancy. Saute. Yes, roast. Okay. Grill, nice. All right, now we're getting into it. Yeah, so there's your lexical resource, right? So a lot of people think, oh, I have to think about idioms. Instead of thinking about idioms, it's actually better to think about words that associate to the topic, okay? So keep that in mind. It is better to think of words like this to use for this topic to get a high lexical resource mark or vocabulary mark. It's one of the categories, okay? When they're marking you in speaking, they're marking you on fluency and coherence. They're marking you on grammatical range and accuracy. They're marking you on lexical resource, and they're marking you on pronunciation. So for lexical resource, it's better to think like this than to think like, when I tasted my mom's cake, I was over the moon. Okay, I heard that 500 times today. But if you say, my mom whisked some icing sugar and created the most fantastic cake I've ever seen, then you'll get a great band score. Okay, so high lexical resource marks. All right. Then forcing idioms. Okay, all right. Hope that's clear. Okay, let's get into it. So the examiner says, how often do you make a sandwich? So again, the examiner will say, let's talk about making food. And then the examiner will ask, how often do you make a sandwich? Okay. Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Marco, let's see what Marco has. Don't use to be honest, students. I see a couple of those. You don't need to be lying, or you don't need to be honest about how often you make a sandwich. Just tell me how often you make a sandwich. Okay, Marco says, since I am a university student, with university, we use for some reason, not an. So since I am a university student, I don't have much time to prepare food. So sandwiches, use affirmative language, Marco. Instead of could be a good solution, say are a good solution. Especially at lunch. I usually make 2 chicken sandwiches with tomato every week. All right. Good. Answer the question directly, Marco. Okay, so this is looking good. So it's looking like a band, well, let's say 8. I think you're on the right track. Let's boost it to a band 9. Okay, I'm going to show you how. So answer the question directly. I often make a sani. Okay. Sani is a slang for sandwich, so you can use it. I often make a sani. Since I'm a university student, I don't have much time to prepare warm meals. So sandwiches are a good solution. It's 1. Sandwiches are a good solution, especially at lunch. I usually make 2 chicken sandwiches with tomato every week. Now you're at the band 9. Okay, it's tricky. The difference between a band 9 and a band 8 is very small. Okay, so here, repeat after me. I often make a sani. Since I'm a university student, I don't have much time to prepare warm meals, so sandwiches are a great solution, especially at lunch. I usually make 2 chicken sandwiches with tomato every week. Okay, that's how it goes. All right. Clear? Everybody kind of gets the idea of the difference between a band 8 and a band 9, so answer directly. Okay. As much as possible, and use affirmative language. Yeah, there's a weird, a lot of people think it's a weird misconception that using could or may or might is polite, but it's actually often not good communication. So it can be polite, but it can also be confusing. So use can instead of could. Use will instead of would. Okay. In some places you can use modals, sure, but most of the time in professional and academic communication, we use affirmative language. That is important both for your speaking and your writing. Is that clear, everybody? Thumbs up, please, if you got that. Okay, that's an important advice for you for your communication. Okay, so in academic and professional communication, affirmative, confident language is more valuable. All right, so confident, affirmative language is much clearer, coherent, right? And more valuable in professional and academic settings. And even in your home, when you're speaking with your brothers, sisters, your friends, I would recommend using affirmative language often. It shows that you're confident, okay? Yeah, you know what? Maybe you might seem a little bit less polite, but people will choose a confident person over a polite person. Keep that in mind, okay? Even though they might not think that, they will, okay? So people will usually choose confidence over being polite. I'll give you a good tip. You and I are lost in a forest and we're on the verge of panic. And I say, we could go that way and it would possibly take us home, or we will go that way and it will take us home. Which would you rather hear, right? A or B at that point? Probably like, I just need somebody to tell me, let's go that way, it will take us home. Okay, so people will take confidence over polite in most situations. All right, let's go to the next one. What do you use to make food? Okay. What do you use to make food? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Okay. Just Fun says, when I was 9 years old, my mom told me not to use a knife because it is dangerous. So I absolutely heard that from my mom. Until now, I usually use chopsticks to cook. Well, okay, don't tell the examiner what you don't use. Tell them what you do use, okay? So what do you use to make food? Okay, here we go. I use a variety of kitchen utensils and appliances to make food, whether it is the oven for baking a cake or a sharp chef's knife to chop carrots. I have dozens of different kitchen tools at my disposal at home. Yesterday, I used my blender to make a smoothie for the family. All right, that's your band 9 level answer. Okay. Answer, explanation, example. What do you use to make food? I use a variety of kitchen utensils and appliances to make food, whether it's the oven for baking a cake or a sharp chef's knife to chop carrots. I have dozens of different kitchen tools at my disposal at home. Yesterday, I used my blender to make a smoothie for the family. Okay. Lots of different vocabulary here. Notice the use of the correlative conjunction, whether or. So whether the oven or a sharp knife. Definitely try to get a couple of those correlative conjunctions in early in your speaking, okay? So use correlative conjunctions to emphasize your answers. They include whether or, not only, but also, both and, either or. All right, there's lots of them. Neither nor. There we go. If I remember some more, I'll let you know. Okay, so those help to emphasize your language. Examiners love to hear them. Again, it shows confidence. It shows good natural language. It shows connectivity. Okay, connects the ideas. All right. Okay, let's see. Andrew says, as I mentioned before, my cooking skills are extremely limited, so I usually employ simple utensils like spoons, forks, and knives, and appliances such as ovens. This morning I made 3 toasts for myself with a toaster in my hotel room. Okay, fair enough. Keeping breakfast very dietary and simple, Andrew. So making just some toast. No butter, Andrew? Come on, put butter on that toast. Be brave. Okay, so there we go. That's a good answer. Okay, everybody, I think you're getting the idea, and I think, you know, your English brain cells are all warmed up. So let's do some volunteering for speaking. This is where you get a chance to speak with me and practice your answers for the speaking sections for this topic of cooking. The way to do this is go to aehelp.com, our website, and then log into your My Student account. If you don't have one, you can easily create one. I'll show you in a moment. And then go to the Student Partner Speaking. Make sure your microphone is working, test it out with another person, and then you can volunteer once I'm in there with me to speak. So this is our academic IELTS website here at aehelp.com. Carolina has kindly put the steps into the chat, so you can follow those steps. Okay, so aehelp.com, click the big red button to join the premium package, especially if you like these live classes. Definitely join the premium version. It's a one-time payment, and you will basically have the textbooks for these live classes that we use. And then you can also try it with the green button. These buttons are just right above my head there. And then click on the My Student account. And in your My Student account, you've got practice exams, videos, audio CDs. You got lots and lots. Right now we're using this Student Partner Speaking that's just right above my head there, right there. Okay. Click on that. Accept the terms that you're speaking and you're responsible for what you say. You will notice different students in here. We've got lots of students in here today. That's fantastic to see. We've got Shohaib, a premium student, Andrew, who's a premium student. And then all you have to do is send me a message. You will see me in here as master. And you can click on the little blue envelope that's beside my handle and then just write I want to volunteer. When you write the I want to volunteer, then I will see your message and I can reach out to you. If you're having any difficulty, you might need to use a VPN, depending on what country you're in. You might have to refresh the page. So let's try this. Let's try it with Yuka. I know Yuka's in here quite often, and let's see if we can give Yuka a chance. Yuka, are you ready? Okay. Premium students, I would love to see you volunteer. Gasham, now I see one premium student volunteering, and Petrus, that's great. Oh, let me put on my ears so I can hear you better. Meanwhile, we'll reach out to Yuka.
Hello?
Hi, Yuka. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. How is 2023 so far?
Nothing has happened really, so I can't tell.
Nothing magical yet? All right,
Yeah.
well, hopefully it will.
Yeah, my exam is in 1 week.
Okay.
So I hope it goes.
All right, well, hopefully that will be the first magical event. You will get a band 9 on that speaking test,
Yeah,
right?
I hope.
All right. Okay, Yuka, why are you taking the IELTS?
To get my bachelor's degree in university abroad and first get higher education.
Okay, and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Mongolia.
From
Kalusi,
Mongolia.
Ulaanbaatar.
That's right. Yes, that's right. I remember
Yeah,
now.
I don't know if you remember it.
I do now that you
I told
mentioned
you
it.
before.
I do now. It was a while ago, but yes, I remember it. Okay, Yuka, well, let me ask you some questions just like in the real IELTS speaking, especially if you're doing the computer-based version of the speaking test. It's very, very similar to this, except, of course, I would see you also. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner. May I see your identification?
Yes, please have a look. This is my password that I used to register with.
What is your full name?
My full name is Yuka Kim, and you can just call me by Yuka.
Okay, Yuka. Now, for part one, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Where do you live?
Well, I live in the capital city of Mongolia, which is Ulaanbaatar, and my home is just 5 kilometers away from the main square.
What do you like about your home?
Well, I would say it is very conveniently located, and there are many shops and amenities near my home.
Let's talk about making food. How often do you make a sandwich?
Well, as I'm a high school student, I rarely make any food. My mom usually cooks food for me. So, yeah.
What do you usually use to make food?
Well, as I had mentioned before, I never cook food, and probably I cook egg, and I use the fork and chopsticks to fry my egg, and yeah, I usually use them to cook.
All right, I'm going to stop there, Yuka. You're doing great, by the way. Okay,
Okay.
Yuka, you're on the right track. You're doing fantastic. You're definitely at about the band 7.5 level. So you're fluent. You have good use of natural English, good pronunciation. Your grammar is quite accurate. And I think that you can get as high as a band 8, 8.5 even on your exam. You just have to be more confident when you're answering the question. So give complete answers.
Yeah, I'm still nervous, so I
I
tried
feel
to
that.
speak to different people on your side, but yeah,
That's okay.
I've seen
Yeah.
improvement, I guess.
No. Keep doing it. Keep going. Keep going. So feedback is important, and what you want to do is just have a strong finish. As long as you have a stronger finish to what you're saying, then your band score will go up. So your introduction was good. Just one quick piece of advice for the introduction: instead of saying "you can call me Yuka," it's more polite to say "please just call me Yuka" or "please refer to me as Yuka." So use the "please" instead of the "you can." The "you can," it's kind of like you're giving me permission to call you something, and when you're talking to an examiner, it's a bit awkward to do that. So just say "please call me Yuka," okay, instead of the "you can call me." When we meet like a stranger or a friend, that's usually when we say "you can call me." Okay, and then so we got into the questions of making food, and I said, I asked you, how often do you make a sandwich? And you said, as I am a high school student, I rarely make any food. That was a great start. That was really good. You started with the explanation instead of the answer, which is tricky, so careful, but it was good. So you said, as I am a high school student, I rarely make any food. My mom usually cooks for me. And then you kind of said, so yeah. Keep the original question in mind. How often do you make a sandwich? Okay, so here, instead of saying "so yeah" at the end, keep the original question in mind and say, so the last time I remember making a sandwich was like a month ago, when I was at home alone. Okay, I made a cheese sandwich. To finish strong, you can always keep in mind, Yuka, the example, right? Just any old example. Just throw it in there naturally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try this. Strong start, strong finish, okay? I'm going to say it. Try to just repeat without reading, okay? Because you have very good English. You should be doing repetition with no reading, just from listening and visualizing, okay? So here we go. I'll say it one more time after I'm finished, then just copy and repeat what I said. It doesn't have to be the exact same words. It just has to be the same content. Okay, so as I'm a high school student, I rarely make any food. My mom usually cooks for me. So the last time I remember making a sandwich was like a month ago when I was at home alone. I got hungry, so I made a cheese sandwich. How often do you make a sandwich?
As I am a high school student, I rarely make any food. My mom usually cooks for me, so the last time I remember making a sandwich was like a month ago, and it was a cheese sandwich.
Good. Yeah. I threw in the I was home alone, right? Because that's why mom didn't make it. But that's okay. You miss a little piece like that. It's not the end of the world. It's much better. It's still a clear, complete finish, right? So really practice avoiding these yeah and mumbling finishes, okay? They're not good, all right? You definitely can't get a band 8 with mumbling the end of your answers, okay? All right, Yuka?
Okay. Thanks.
All right, you're very welcome. Keep it up and volunteer again, okay?
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Bye, Yuka. All right, that's Yuka kicking it off 2023 in Mongolia. Okay, let's take one of our premium members here. Let's see if we can reach out to Nikolai. Nikolai, are you there? Nikolai says, may I try? A new student and a premium student. Let's give it a shot. Nikolai, are you there? Yes, absolutely. You can give it a try, Nikolai. Let me know if you're there and we'll get into it. Nikolai says yes. Hello, Nikolai. I hear that you picked up the line, but I don't hear your voice. Oh, I heard something. Hi, Nikolai. There you are. Perfect. Awesome. How are you?
I'm fine. What about you?
I am doing fantastic. I'm finally over all of these colds and flus that I had at the end of last year, so I'm feeling good. Nikolai, where are you calling from?
So I'm calling from Russia, Moscow.
Russia, Moscow. Wow, the capital. Awesome. And Nikolai, why are you planning to take the IELTS?
Actually, I'm doing IELTS only for fun right now because I want to improve my English. So I don't plan to take IELTS in the near future.
Perfect.
Maybe in an hour, maybe in a year.
Yeah, I mean, IELTS is a benchmark, right? So when somebody can show a certain achievement on IELTS, it's the most internationally recognized. So when nowadays, if you go to any professional or any school and you say, I have this score on IELTS, it gives them a very good idea of what they can expect from you, not just for English, but also for your communication. So yeah, I mean, doing it quote unquote just for fun, to have on a resume or a CV or as a personal benchmark, not a bad idea at all. Okay, Nikolai, let me ask you a few questions then. Are you ready?
Okay, yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so let's talk about making food. How often do you make a sandwich?
I frequently make a sandwich, I would say 5 to 6 times a week. I do it mostly for breakfast. Just today in the morning, I had a sandwich with cheese and sausages.
What do you use to make food?
I use many objects to prepare my dishes, like an oven, knives, forks, as well as spoons. So I have to say these items help me make not only tasty but also healthy food.
Do you like to cook?
Yes, definitely. I'm into this activity. I enjoy making food. I have to say that I cook not only for myself but also for my family, and I'm always overjoyed when they say that my dishes are amazing.
What is your favorite ingredient?
Um, Maybe it has to be pepper because it makes my dishes spicy since I'm into this type of food.
All right, I'm going to stop there for now.
Okay.
And give you some feedback. Okay, that would be like a band 8 to 8.5. You're definitely inching towards that band 9 level, Nikolai. So that's very, very good. Definitely they would class you at around the very good level for fluency, coherence, grammatical range and accuracy, pronunciation. So it's very clear. You're answering the questions. You're giving full sentence answers. The complexity could be increased slightly to secure a band 9, and some of the word choice is a little bit on the simpler side, and you could use maybe some better words to guarantee that perfect score. Let me give you a little bit of feedback and show you. But overall, you're doing a great job, and I'll show you some of the very good features that you have in your speaking as well. So I asked you, how often do you make a sandwich? That was a lovely answer. You said, I frequently make a sandwich, I would say 5 to 6 times a week. I usually do it in the mornings. I made a sausage sandwich this morning, I think you said. So that was a very nice, smooth answer of qualitative language, frequently, quantitative language, 5 to 6 times a week. And then an example. That was really nice, very clear communication. So excellent job there. What do you use to make food? So that first answer was a band 9. It was the second answer where I was like, okay, maybe not a band 9, because you said, I use many objects. Objects is slightly awkward when referring to kitchen utensils. Usually you won't hear a native speaker say objects in this scenario. They'll say something like, I use many different tools, or I use a lot of kitchen equipment or kitchen utensils, but objects would kind of be avoided. It's a bit awkward in this context. So I use many utensils or tools to prepare dishes, like an oven. Oven would be, of course, an appliance, as we mentioned earlier in the class. And forks. So otherwise it was fairly good. And your fluency was so good I had trouble catching up to you. So I'm just reflecting on what I was able to catch here in my writing. And I said, do you like to cook? And you said, yes, I'm definitely into this activity. Okay, sure. I have to say I cook not only for myself, but also for my family. Good. Maybe a bit of detail there, like my wife and 2 kids, or my parents and brothers. I don't know. And then you said, I always enjoy when they say that I make delicious food. That's nice. It's an indirect quote. It's reported speech. Using reported speech definitely shows a higher level of English. So I highly recommend for everybody who's watching to practice using reported speech in some parts of your interview when it's natural. Now we can improve this a little bit. Instead of when they say, Nikolai, what would be a better word? So I always enjoy when they do what? Instead of say, can you replace the word say with better vocabulary? When they... Starts with a C-O-M. Compliment, right? When they compliment my dishes, saying that it's delicious, okay? Something like that. Or when they praise the food, right? So you praise the chef, you compliment the chef. So again, those are the kind of little, just slight, it's a very small difference to a band 9, but it's really these tiny little differences that make that band 9 a guarantee, okay? So when they compliment, just repeat after me. I always enjoy when my family compliments my food, telling me that it's delicious.
I always enjoy when they compliment the food that I made.
Okay, yeah, very good. All right, so what you want to do at your level, Nikolai, is record yourself. And after you've recorded yourself, listen back. And anytime you feel that the vocabulary is slightly lacking and you could use a little bit of a better word, then upgrade those words and then say it again, okay? Also lots of reading, of course, to get those words coming to you faster and more naturally in your speech, okay?
Okay, thank you for your feedback.
But Nikolai, I mean, you're at a good spot, so no complaints, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep up the good studies. We'll talk again soon. Okay. Bye, Nikolai.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Nikolai from Moscow. That was great. Yeah. He's doing a good job. All right. Good English. Let's see. Somebody else. Petrus. I know that you're also a premium student. Students, it pays to be a premium student. And I want to encourage you to use the premium course on the websites and talk to each other as well in the chat. Petrus, are you ready for some questions? If Petrus is there, I believe Petrus and I have had a discussion in the past. Petrus says, yeah. All right. And I like how you're giving thumbs up to each other. Thank you, Carolina, for supporting Nikolai with the thumbs up. Hi, Petrus. I hear that you picked up. Can you hear me? Are you there? I don't hear your voice yet, but I know it took a second for Nikolai's voice to come through as well. So I'll give it a second. Students, do make sure that you've got a good connection. And again, sometimes you might want to refresh the page to make sure that your connection is stable, especially if you're using a dynamic internet point. Okay, so Petrus, I don't hear you. Check your internet, try it with somebody else, and then I might be able to circle back. Okay. All right. Shohaib, are you ready? Yes, you can. Shohaib, if you're there, let me know. And I'm just kind of jumping around to the bottom of the list as well here, everybody. So you don't think that it's only people who are at the top of this list that get chosen. Shohaib says yes. Okay, Shohaib. Hi, Shohaib. I hear you, kind of. I hear something on the other end there. Can you hear me, Shohaib? Can you check your mic if it's... Shohaib, I hear your voice, but you sound like you're 1,000 miles on the other side of the ocean from me, which you probably are. But if you can get the microphone working...
Now I am clear?
Yeah, now there we go. Okay. All right. I can hear you now. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Happy 2023 to you, Shohaib. Shohaib, can you...
Thanks to you.
Thank you. Shohaib, can you tell everybody why you're taking IELTS?
I'm planning to pursue my master degree from Germany. This is my first reason, and second reason for my PR in Germany also.
Okay, so PR and to pursue a master's degree in Germany.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's weird. You're taking IELTS and not German. Are you taking German as well? Or learning German?
Not yet. I'm not started right now. But after my IELTS exam, then started my preparation for German language.
Well, here's the good news, Shohaib. English is a Germanic language. So once you learn English, German is not too difficult. I mean, there are definitely differences, but it's not too difficult. Okay, well, let me help you with the IELTS. Are you ready for some of these questions?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, then here we go. Let's talk about making food. What do you use to make food? Shohaib, what do you use to make food?
Yeah. I use a lot of utensils for cook food, but it depends on the dishes what I make basically. Most of the time I have to use a gas stove for making a chapati and vegetable dishes. Other than this, I have to use a microwave and oven for baking a cupcakes and cookies for also. Last Friday, my brother and me baking a cupcake for my mom's and for my family also, and this loving it for me, and it's really tasty.
Do you like to cook?
Yes, I really love to cooking. 4 to 5 times in a week, I cook food not only for me but also for my brothers and relatives. It is one of my hobbies to cook a food. Yesterday, I make a butter chicken in my homes, and it also my favorite dish.
Do you like to bake?
Yes, definitely. I have to bake. As I previously mentioned, answer. Some of cookies I have to make. Last week, I have a make up cookies for my brothers, and for my moms. Uh, and it is also a good for me. Mm, it is my one of hobby. That's why I'm choosing a cook to food.
Have you learned to make any special dishes?
Yeah, yes, yes, I have learned so many of dishes, but I have to choose butter chicken. It's really a nice. Uh, in India, it's basically a common disease, but it is good for me. Not for it is really a delicious disease. And some of main ingredients, just like as garlic paste, is a whole. It is a main ingredients in the chicken, butter chicken. And without using this, there are not all. Without using this, the this taste is always different. So that's why I'm choosing these ingredients. It is a good, and the taste is better.
Okay, let's stop
And
there.
my mom is like it.
All right, that was good. That was good. So overall, that would be about a band 6.5, going towards a 7. Some examiners might give you a 7 if you keep speaking nice and fluently like this. The reason it's a 6.
I'm a bit nervous because my 18th exam, 18th January of speaking exam.
Okay. So I'll give you some good advice here of what to do until your January 18th test, okay? Because you have 13 days. So pay attention to these details. Okay. So you're doing a fairly good job of answering the questions accurately, speaking fluently, but you're making some slight grammatical mistakes.
Grammar?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
with
I know.
grammar, and the grammar mistakes are not critical. Critical means that I get confused, okay? Critical mistakes are the confusing mistakes where the listener's kind of like, what are you saying? So I don't get confused. I still get what you're saying. I just always catch these kind of strange grammar mistakes where I'm like, why is he using the plural for mum? It should be mum, not mums. Because you're not showing possessive, so it sounds like you're saying a plural, like you have many moms, for example. Or there was an awkward use of combining the gerund with the infinitive. So you, instead of saying, yes, I really love to cook, you said, yes, I really love to cooking. Again, I get it, you know, you love to cook, but why did you make it an ing, right? So you can't use the to with the ing in this case. So it's these slight grammatical mistakes that pull your score down, and you really want to avoid them. Now, fixing grammar in a short time, like in 2 weeks, is not an easy task, okay? It usually takes a bit of time to fix grammar, so don't stress too much. But one step that you can take is, of course, really pay attention when you're practicing in the next 12 days. So really focus on your common grammatical mistakes, like using accurate verbs, okay? And also, another way that you can reduce these mistakes and increase your score potentially to a for sure 7 is slow down a bit. So you can speak slightly slower. You will still be fluent. So your fluency score will still be very good. So speak maybe 10% slower and focus 10% more on grammar. And so a little bit slower with a little bit better grammar will get you a higher mark. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay, I remember.
All right. So when I ask you, for example, like, do you like to cook? You can say, yes, I really love to cook. It's one of my favorite hobbies. Yesterday I made buttered chicken, and both my mom and brother said that it was very delicious. Right? Slower, but more attention to correct grammar. Okay. Let's try it one more time. Do you like to cook?
Yes, I love to cook, but it's one of my hobbies to cook. Yesterday, I made a butter chicken with my mother and for my brother, and he said to me, it is a good in taste.
And he said it's very delicious.
Yeah, he said it's very delicious.
Okay, good. So practice that. And, you know, with 13 days left, as long as you slow down, pay a bit more attention to grammar, the grammar will start to become clear in your head, and getting closer to the 18th, you might even be able to speed up a bit again and still have good grammar. So keep practicing that, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Shohaib, for being one of our premium students and for volunteering. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day and keep coming back over the next few days, okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, Shoaib. Let's give Shoaib a thumbs up. He's very brave volunteers. Yuka as well. Very, very brave. Thank you, volunteers so far. Okay, let's take another person here. Let's look at somebody at the bottom of the list. Let's look for Layla. Layla, are you ready? Shohaib, by the way, you did a good job using the present perfect in the last question. Okay, hint, hint, everybody. Use the grammar of questions. Layla, if you're still with us, if you're hanging out, let me know. I'll give you a moment to respond here in case you're staring at the stars. I'm guessing it's quite late in some countries. Layla, if you're there. Yes, you are. There you are. Okay. Hi, Layla.
Hello.
Layla, can you mute YouTube? Just click the mute button.
Hi,
Layla.
Good evening. Hello.
Layla, can you mute YouTube? So just click the speaker on YouTube. Just on YouTube. Click the speaker and then we won't get the audio feedback. Layla, can you? Okay, I think you got it. Perfect. How are you, Layla?
I'm fine, thank you.
Perfect. Layla, is this your first time volunteering?
Last time I was volunteer in a light hall.
Oh, that was Light Hall. Okay, I thought your voice was familiar for me. Good. All right, Layla, so you're volunteering here now. Layla, can you remind me, where are you from?
I'm from Kazakhstan and currently I live in Almaty, which formal capital of Kazakhstan and very beautiful and friendly city.
Great. And why are you taking the IELTS?
Because I would like to have some beneficials while I'm studying, like students participate in students exchange, and after that I would like to study abroad.
Excellent. Okay, so you've got some good goals. Okay, Layla, well, let me help you towards that goal. So I will ask you some questions about making food and just give me the best answers possible. Are you ready?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about making food. Do you like to cook?
I enjoy to cook, especially I like to prepare roasted chicken with vegetables. Usually I put some peppers, tomatoes, and other tasty vegetables to this dish. And also I enjoy to cook.
Do you like to
pastries.
bake?
Yes, I like to bake pastries, especially chocolate pie and biscuits.
What is your favorite ingredient?
Well, I think my favorite ingredient is potatoes. While I do something for main dishes, and second favorite ingredient for pastries is apples.
Have you learned to make any special dishes?
Well, when I would like to prepare something unusual, I surf the internet and find delicious dishes which look fantastic, and I prefer some dishes with easy recipe but unusual, which my mom doesn't prepare.
If you could learn to make any dish, what would it be?
I would like to try something Indian, because recently I make an Indian friend and they have lots of specific food, and he told me a lot about Indian cuisine, so I'm very interested in it.
that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you a cue card with some questions, but you don't have to worry about that, Layla, because I will not go to part 2 right now. Okay, so I think it's a bit tricky because some of your language features are very good, and then in some places it's a little bit off or awkward, but I think you would get a band 6 from some examiners. Some examiners might be quite strict with some of the grammatical mistakes or language use mistakes and might score you a 5.5, but some might even score you a 6.5, so it's a tough call. I would give you a 6. Because I think you're fluent and you understand the questions and you give fluent answers with fairly good detail and your pronunciation is quite clear. Again, some of the lexical resource and some of the grammatical accuracy is a bit off, but what I really, really like about your speaking is that you don't hesitate to correct yourself. You have a lot of good self-correction. And this is a tip for everybody. Self-correction is very good. It's much better than leaving a mistake. So when you said, I prefer dishes which my mom don't prepare, and then you corrected yourself, doesn't prepare. And what's really good about your corrections is they're accurate. So you are correcting mistakes. Sometimes people will actually correct non-mistakes, which is awkward, but you are correcting mistakes. So you do have a strong foundation in English, and it's just taking a while, of course, to get it consistent. But you're doing a great job with that. So Layla, very nice self-correcting. Okay, just a couple of quick pieces of advice to boost your IELTS score and your English quite quickly. Okay, reflect the grammar of questions. So this question, have you learned to make any special dishes? It's present perfect and it's okay to think about it. It's a less common question. You should answer in the present perfect right away. Yes, I have. I have learned to make a few different unique dishes. In this way, you show the examiner right away that you caught that this was a present perfect question. It's looking for expectation, like they're expecting that you have or you haven't. So you reflect that, okay? Can you copy after me, Layla? Yes, I have. I have learned to make a few different dishes.
Yes, I have. I have learned to make a few special dishes.
Yeah, nice. Okay, a few different unique dishes, you can also say. All right. And the IELTS is not about truth, Layla, so they don't really have to be unique. I think Shohaib got that last time. He started talking about butter chicken, which he said is quite common in India, but it might be considered unique in other parts of the world, right? So he realized that, okay, it's IELTS. It doesn't really have to be unique. You just have to pretend that it's unique, okay? So yes, I have learned to make a few different unique dishes. My specialty is making a cinnamon apple pie. Okay, it's maybe not the most unique dish in the world, but maybe you have a secret recipe. Making a cinnamon apple pie with my grandma's secret recipe. My friends and family just love it. Okay, and then that's it. And it was good. When I asked you your first question, you were talking and I interrupted you and you realized, too much detail. I need to be a little bit clearer here. So that was very good that you controlled yourself after. That was another nice adjustment. And I can hear in your voice that you're nervous, but you're still making some really quick and good adjustments to your language, and that's fantastic, okay? So reflecting the grammar, same in the next question. If you could learn to make any dish, what would it be? And you said, I would like to try something Indian. Reflect the full condition. So given the chance to master some delicious cuisine. Can you repeat this word after me? Cuisine.
Cuisine.
Okay, I think you had a kind of a strange pronunciation for that a little bit earlier. So cuisine, it comes from French. Given the chance to master some delicious cuisine, I would like to try something Indian. Careful with the something. Be more specific whenever possible. So I would like to try something Indian, like a unique curry or something, okay? All right, so use the full grammar. Let's try that one more time with the full grammar, okay? If you could learn to make any dish, what would it be? Try the full grammar, Layla, for this question. So use the given the chance to master one delicious cuisine, okay? So one more time. If you could learn to make any dish, what would it be?
Given the chance to master some delicious cuisine, I would like to try something Indian because recently I make an Indian friend and he told me a lot about Indian food.
So it would be awesome to make the most delicious butter chicken.
And it is fantastic to make delicious spicy chicken.
Sure, spicy chicken's fine. The reason why I said that is because it says if you could learn to make any dish, what would it be? In this case, you want to choose one dish, right? So you want to answer these questions specifically. Layla, you're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up and keep self-correcting. That's the way to improve your language. So as long as you keep self-correcting like that, and keep practicing it, of course, you're going to do just great, okay?
Okay, I'm very happy to hear that. I will practice a lot.
Okay, perfect. Layla, we'll talk again soon, okay? Bye for now.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, that was Layla from Kazakhstan. Let's give her a thumbs up. She was quite nervous, but she did a fantastic job. All right, students, so we're using the live speaking on the website, okay? It's this student partner speaking. Speak to each other, not just me, because my time is up for this class. But for all of you watching, stay in here, practice with each other, make some speaking partners. The website is great for that, and it's free. You can use that part of the website absolutely free. To use all of the other parts like the practice exams, the lesson videos, the full online course, what you want to do is you want to sign up for the premium package, and you can do that at aehelp.com for academic IELTS by clicking the big red button that's just above my head there. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. And for general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. The chat interface is shared, so you will see the same people in both chat systems. Carolina, thank you for moderating the class. I hope that all of you have a lovely rest of the day. I will be back tomorrow with writing task 2 for members and reading for everybody else. Thank you to all my volunteers today. You're all very brave, beautiful people. And thank you to all the viewers for your support. Again, we are here to help you master IELTS. So subscribe to the channel and visit our websites, aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for now, but I'm back tomorrow a little bit earlier and at this time with 2 classes. So come back and join me then. Bye for now, everybody.